Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today, we're continuing our playthrough of Legend of Legaia, covering up until we defeat Xain and return to Octam. But before we get to all of that, how was everyone's week?
So I've been looking at desktop PCs, mostly recreationally because I can't afford to get a new one, but I want a new one. So I've been looking at them, and I notice that they're being listed as like 25L, 40L, and it seems the higher the number is, the bigger the case is. Is that saying how many liters it is?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my
it
god, that's hilarious.
That makes it sound like when you talk about a computer thing in liters, it just makes you imagine drinking the computer.
Yeah, it's because it's hollow, I guess. So they're like,
yeah, you're measuring volume. So
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
how much
it makes-
volume it fits inside.
It makes sense, but it's funny to me.
What's wrong with cubic feet? Answer everything.
Yeah, but yeah, liters.
Cool. I want a new PC.
Me too. Not even like, am I using mine? Mine's just kind of old at this point. It's like 3 or 4 years. It needs a spruce up.
The one I'm using now is new to me. It's 3 or 4 years old, but I don't care. I haven't had a working desktop in so long. It's delightful. I am endlessly amused.
The worst part about me wanting a new PC is Linus Tech Tips did a video just this week on how if you buy older things, you can get a lot better performance than if you buy on the bleeding edge for the same price. And they basically built this PC that I have. So my budget range is to not upgrade, to just buy this PC again, which is kind of frustrating, but it is what it is.
Sam, quick aside. I'm getting a little background noise from you, and you sound a little loud, like a little poor quality audio, sorta.
Oakley dokley.
I don't know if there's a problem with your gain.
Yep, kids were messing with my mic. The gain was turned way up. And I don't know if you've ever used a Blue Yeti, but the gain should be in the negatives. There's no good gain setting on here. Low gain is too much gain. I don't know why there's so much gain on this microphone. But do I sound better?
Yes, you sound so much better.
Word
indeed. I am recovering from being sick. It's funny because last time we recorded, I was basically a day or two into this cold, and I'm currently on what feels like the last day, but I've been saying this will be the last day for a couple days now, but I really think I'm almost at 100%. I just occasionally cough a bit. I don't feel like I need to worry about talking too much and throwing my voice out completely. As for how else my week has gone, adjusting still to no job again, making some exciting plans that I'll possibly be talking about later in regards to my holidays this year. But honestly, like, probably one of the biggest things, this is so silly, but one of the anime, this extremely unsurprising thing, hi, I'm a trans girl, and this show is very close to my heart. That got remade recently, called Ranma One Half, and I've been watching it, and boy howdy, this remake's really good. I have some complaints here and there in small points, but in general, in terms of both animation, the pacing of how much they're putting into each episode, how they're doing the story, stellar. The dub voice cast they put together is incredible. A lot of them are not like big names. A lot of them are like newcomers, and they're killing their roles. I'm loving it. It's so good. I haven't seen the 4th episode yet, which just came out yesterday. I'm looking forward to, though, because my boy Ryoga is showing up for the first time. And there's just a beautiful feeling of, like, this is a thing that used to be extremely dear to my heart, and is still, like, a thing I care about and, like, still kind of engage with on a fandom level. But it's like there's a lot of distance between who I was when I first like fell hard for the series and who I am now. And there is something just special about having that connection to something that's faded, and then the thing gets remade, and all of a sudden it feels like when I watched the opening theme song to the remake, I started tearing up at one point, and I was just like overcome with the emotion of just like, oh my god, it's this thing that like has had such an impact on who I am as a person, and it's fucking back. And it's better than it's ever been. I'm so happy.
That is awesome. I've been wanting to watch that show. I didn't realize it was being remade, but I'm looking at the voice cast now, and girl Ranma is voiced by Reload Fuka.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
She does so good.
Who I didn't realize is also remake Yuffie.
Mm-hmm. The only two VAs I immediately recognized, because I'm much more of an older anime dub person. When it comes to names to recognize, is J. Michael Tatum, plays Akane's dad, Son Tendo, who's J. Michael Tatum has been one of my favorite voice actors in the industry for a very long time. There's only so many incredible roles he can play. I just finished watching Bacano with one of my partners who had never seen it, and it's one of those roles that just makes him shine. And then Stephanie Sheh unexpectedly is voicing Nabiki in the new one. Another case of like in my brain, because like back in the 2000s, Stephanie Sheh was this voice actress. She played Hinata in Naruto, and she played Mikuru in Haruhi, and like she was very much typecast as like, oh, she plays the shy characters who don't speak up very much, and oh, they just talk like this. And
now she's Usagi.
And then she killed that role so well. It has proven her range, and she is absolutely doing a great job with Nabiki. Very different than how the original voice actress did in the 90s Ranma, but different in a good way. Like, it's a different take on the character, and I like hearing it.
I'm glad.
What have you been up to, Sam?
I'm sorry, I always have to shout out this voice actor I saw in the cast. Fred Tatasciore, I think is how you pronounce it, plays, I don't know if this is a major character, but Genma.
Oh, yes, he's doing amazing.
He's an extremely prolific voice actor. I just learned who he is when I looked up who played Don Corneo in Final Fantasy VII Remake, because that is like the best performance in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It is he's an incredible voice actor.
Yeah, Genma is Ranma's dad, so he's a very major character. He's also, I think the fandom kind of, flanderizes him a bit on this point, but he is just a really awful dad. But in a fun sitcom way. But yeah, how's your week been, Sam?
So I went to Texas, and it was awesome. So me and my partner Cass, we rented a minivan. One of the minivans that the seats can fold completely into the floor. So then we put my bed's mattress in the back of the van, and we would just, instead of getting hotels, we would just spend the night at truck stops. And big recommend. It's kind of a whole lot of fun to just
at the right time of year, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
not in the dead of winter.
Yeah, I got real lucky. So Texas is currently in the fall, which means it's still summer everywhere else temperatures. But there was a cold snap that was there for 3 days, which were the 3 days that I was in Houston. So everything was in the like 60s and 70s, and it felt pleasant. It would have absolutely sucked if my sister's wedding was 1 week earlier.
I mean, at least where I am in more central Texas, the weather's actually been pretty nice the past month.
Oh, nice. Yeah, all I saw is, at least for Houston, it was like the week before, it was like something in the 80s, and then it dipped down, and then on Monday, the day we left, it was coming back up. So,
but Texas, and even just fucking Houston, is so big. It's, you never know if it's going to be the same weather situation in multiple places.
Yeah,
Houston is so fucking big. It's weird how you never hear about Houston, even though it's like I think it's the 4th biggest city in the country.
It absolutely is.
It's huge.
It's giant, and it sucks a lot. That's why you never hear about it. But so what we were, so my sister got married in Baytown, Texas, in Southeast Texas, which is about 30 minutes away from my hometown. So my idea was to take Cass to Napolito's Mexican restaurant on Cumming Street in Anahuac, Texas. The best Tex-Mex food is their slogan, and it is very well deserved. And so I was very excited to go and get some again. And on the way out, I asked them for a bunch of to-go orders of chips and salsa, hold the chips, so I could put their salsa in a jar and bring it home with me, because it's really, really good. And so we went to do that, and then while we were there in town, I'm like, oh, let me show you all of the places I used to hang out. Like here at the library, except I drove over to where the library is supposed to be, and there's no building there. There's a construction site there. And I'm like, what the heck? Are they building a new library? And so I Google Anahuac Chambers County Library to see any news things going on, and they're not building a new library there. They're building a cop city where my library used to be.
Holy shit!
Now, your voice quality did get bad again, but I'm guessing that's just because you got so passionate about that. It overtook the gain adjustments, because wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like,
that's literally like, if I found that out about my hometown, I would dissolve into a depressed lump on the floor.
Yeah, so every time I visit Texas, on the way in, I'm like, oh yeah, Taco Cabana. Oh yeah, Bluebell ice cream. Oh yeah, all these Texas things. Why did I ever leave Texas? I should move back to Texas. And there's always a point somewhere in the visit where I'm like, I hate this place and I never want to come back again. And that happened my first night in Texas, because I tried to go to the library and said there was a cop city there. In the Progress, the local Anahuac paper, they said that the library is getting a new location over closer to the middle school, which is a really good, like, central location. It's closer to the high school and the middle school. It'll be a very good place for the library to be. But they didn't put we're building this at the same time, or this will be built in 2025. They just were like, they're going to have a new place over there. And for now, they're in the convention or community center attached to the Lutheran church. And it's just...
That's evil.
It's just
That's
so...
really evil.
They're like basically shoved in a closet for how big this is. The library was gigantic, and it is now basically shoved in a closet, and it makes me really, really upset. That place was my safe place. So like my friend group in the middle of Southeast Texas, so Trump country, my friend group were all of the gay kids, a Asian kid, a Mexican kid, and a Muslim. So we needed a safe place. And that safe place was the library, and it was awesome. And they tore it down for Cop City, and it makes me so flaming mad.
Yeah, no, that's really fucking awful.
But just like my my go-to humpback song, that says, "Like an idiot, the sky is still beautiful," roughly. As we were leaving, we found this little shopping mall that had been built in an old house there in Anahuac that wasn't there back in the day, and there were a lot of like queer maker spaces, and you could tell that these people were like we went to a all vegan custom energy drink store, and it was really cool and awesome. And so seeing like something besides a red hat was awesome. And so there's still hope yet, and hopefully the new library is kick-ass and they build it sooner rather than later. But yeah, it really, really upset me. It kind of spoiled almost the entire rest of the trip. um, including the fact that we had planned to visit Cabo Bob's on the way out, but Cabo Bob's is closed on Sundays, so I didn't even get to eat Cabo Bob's in Texas, and it makes me upset. But other than that, things have been pretty great around here. I've been doing a lot of cross stitch, and I'm making really good progress on the piece that I'm doing, and I can't wait to show it off when it gets all the way done. And I am not currently using it. I have a guitar pick that I'm fidgeting with my hands because it's quiet. So that's what I'm doing this week because my audio last time was real bad.
Yes.
I the thing you're talking about doing with your partner. I have loose plans with a couple of my partners to at some point do something similar to fly out back to where I'm from and show them around where I'm from. But I feel like I'm gonna have a similar moment because while I'm from what is, I feel like in a lot of people's imaginations, one of the bluest states that exists, California. If you're from the areas of California I'm from, you still end up with that feeling because there are spots of California, large spots that are very right-wing leaning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big state.
It's a really big state.
It's got all sorts.
Yeah, and the parts I'm from are very those areas. So I feel like it'll be like, cool, I could show you these places are really nostalgic for me, and we can see some beautiful places are really different from what you're used to. And then we're gonna have to ignore all the MAGA crap we're gonna see. We're gonna have to power through the rough parts. Hope any reunions with some of my old friends go well, and that none of my old friends have like turned shitty. Yeah. Hope that'll be a fun thing to do eventually.
But yeah, then today was Boo at the Zoo, the free zoo here in Madison. Shouts to the Henry Vilas Zoo.
Where you heckle all the animals?
No. It's where you trick or treat at the zoo.
And the animals give you candy.
Yes. And it's a super popular thing around here. And I figured this morning, like, oh, the parking will probably be shitty, and I'm only like 3 or 4 blocks from the zoo. I'll just put the kids in a wagon and I'll pull them there. And I was right. I saw people like basically parking at my apartment and making the same trip that I was taking. It was very, very backed up. But the wagon that we have, the grocery wagon, is something about it is just kind of made shitty, and I don't exactly know what part of it sucks the most, but the handle isn't attached to the wheels. It's attached to the front, and the wheels just spin like a shopping cart wheels. And because of that, it doesn't handle the way that most wagons do, and it kind of really sucks for that. And I ran over my foot, like the back of my foot, a lot today, and I have a gash from it, which freaking sucks. But yeah, I was so exhausted when we got back that I was like, oh, I should probably feed the kids. It's got to be around dinner time. And it was 1:30. I was just so ready for the day to be over, and it was barely started.
Ugh.
But yeah, they had lots of fun. So
I'm glad.
very excited. This year, Storm is Buzz Lightyear for Halloween.
Aww.
And Scarlet is so at Spirit Halloween they have things that are like just generic costumes, and they try and call them something cool. So this one is a generic costume that was called Scarlet Enchantress. And because Scarlet's name is Scarlet, she loved that. And so she's like, well, I'm a Scarlet Enchantress, but I'm going to wear special makeup and fangs to look like a vampire. So I'm going to be a vampire Scarlet Enchantress. That's what I'm going to be for Halloween. And it's like, you could just say witch. Everybody knows what a witch is. But
so good. I love that.
It's so good.
Well, I think calling Scarlet Witch would be a bit of a copyright infringement issue.
Yes. But this episode comes out like the day before Halloween, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. Yes. It comes out it'll come out on the 30th if I do my fucking job.
So I will say my my costume. I'm going as Kratos from Dad of Boy, and I'm very excited for it because that was one of my favorite levels in Astrobot, and that's all of the God of War that I've ever played in my entire life is the level in
Yay!
Astrobot.
You've
But
played slightly more God of War than I have.
but I don't like to shave my beard for cosplays, and there aren't a lot of bearded characters out there. Not a lot of cool ones, at least. And there's even less bald guys with a beard. But Kratos is a fairly, especially Norse Kratos, is a fairly bog standard barbarian costume. And then you just have to have a
Put
cool
on a
axe
red line.
and put on a red line.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing, and I'm really excited for it. And I have pushed That of Boy up my list to play soon, but it's still spooky season, so we're working our way through Resident Evil 7, and it's real scary. We don't get very far into it every time we sit to play it, but we're hoping to finish that one by Halloween. And so after that, I will probably start playing Dad of Boy.
I mean, Dad of Boy is pretty spooky. What's spookier than trauma and grief and estranged father-son relationships?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but even those very, very scary, spooky things, I will just be too excited when the old cursed weapon that he promised he would never use again. That's my absolute favorite trope, and every time when it's like, I said I would never do this, and he unsheathes the giant sword on his back that he's never used all game or whatever. It's the best, and I know that that's the climax of that game, so I'm very excited for it.
That sounds very cool.
It's good.
Also, I've been sitting on this for a while. That voice actor you mentioned before, Bernard, Fred, last name I'm not going to try to pronounce. I did peruse his thing, and I was just going like, okay, a lot of small voices here and there. I'm sorry, he's Lieutenant Shax in Lower Decks? Oh my god.
Oh my god. I love Lieutenant Shax.
I love him so much.
That's the old hot one.
Yeah.
That's all I know about this character.
Yes.
Speaking of old hot ones, let's play this old game that is hot called Legend of Legaia.
We do go to a very hot area.
It's true. We got to go to the fire path, so it actually works better. I was thinking hot in the Paris Hilton sort of way, but yeah. So let's listen to some music, and then we'll talk about Legend of Legaia.
With so many signs pointing towards Octam, and with it the mysterious Hari, we go there. When we arrive, Noah is super excited to finally learn what the hell is going on with her dreams, and emboldened by the discovery that Octam looks exactly like the place from their shared dream, she starts running around, shouting for people's attention, but the only one who responds is Gala, who pulls her back and points out that the mist is sort of everywhere. Clearly there's no people here to talk to.
And you're going to get in a random encounter if you keep running around like that.
Yeah, a lot of them.
But it's okay, because if you get in random encounter here, you can get the heal all spell. So go ahead, Noah, run around.
Yes.
There are no monsters around. Not in the sense that there are random battles. There are random battles. But there's no random townspeople walking around like there were in that other place. Mm-hmm. An interesting little mystery. Noah asks Terra if there's a Genesis tree nearby so they can clear out the mist and free this place, only to find out that no, there actually isn't a convenient Genesis tree nearby. Noah still doesn't want to give up looking around and asks Vaughn what he thinks. Of course, I had Vaughn tell her that we'll definitely keep poking around, which just made her happy, because I don't want to make Noah sad. There are indeed a lot of empty buildings around, some of which have some good loot to find in them, but as you said, there's a lot of monsters for the random battles, and with them, the Sarah with the orb spell, which you really need to make sure you get, because, as we talked about last time, at this point in the game, the group heal spell is Fucking mandatory.
It's good to have it.
Indeed. I literally, because I'm playing on an emulator, I decided to do the thing of save stating right before I dealt the the turn before I dealt the killing blow, and replaying the turn over and over until I got the spell on each
Oh my
kill.
god, I should have thought to
That
do
would have been
that because
that
I
would
was
have been
having
smart.
such bad rolls, even with the accessory that improves magic acquisition.
Mhm.
Yeah,
My
no,
my
it's
very first battle with one, Vaughn got it. I'm like, cool, awesome. Got to get it for everybody. And the other two took like 3 hours. It was so
oh,
frustrating. I played it on Saturday, which I guess was yesterday. And I had a list of like the things I needed to do so that I could just have the rest of the day off. And I was like, and play Legend of Legaia. It's always just like a 2.5 hour thing. And I kicked my emulator down to original resolution so that I can get it twice as fast on my SP. And so I was like, they'll get it, and it'll be awesome, it'll be great. And then I died horribly at the end of this chapter. I reloaded my save. I found out that orb was good, and I needed to grab it. And I grinded forever to get orb and everything. And then my SP crashed,
oh,
and I lost all of that progress. So then I did use save states to cheat at the boss. And
correct move.
that I was like, well, screw doing this correctly now. I got to be done with this. This is too much work put in today.
There are few feelings in gaming as disheartening as losing a chunk of, especially like not like story progress, but like grinding for numbers or a spell or an item, and losing that because of a crash. That is the worst. I'm so sorry for you.
I've never finished Wind Waker HD because I was trying to
Oh,
100% it, and so I was looking at the figurines guide or whatever. And on the Wii U,
oh,
you can hit the little internet button on your tablet, and you can just surf the internet while your game is paused.
yeah.
And I had done that the whole time, and it was fine. But then after a day where like I didn't have work and all of my roommates were gone, it was just me and Link and the sea, and it was wonderful. And I got like 9 hours of figurine hunting. I hit the button to go back to game, and the Wii U doesn't click the button. And so I lost like 9 hours of figurine hunting, and I was like, I'm not finishing this game. And I have not played a Wind Waker game since, and that was a very long time ago.
Horrible. I back in the day played Tales of Symphonia on my GameCube, and I got up to the Tower of Shadow dungeon, and then I lost several hours of progress from a power outage. And at that point, I just never came back to the game until a year or two ago when I decided to blaze through it because I was like, I should actually finish this game. Anyway, what you need to do is plunge into the central temple of Octam, where you find the 4 books of prophecy that you were told about, as well as tablets that place the classical 4 elements in a specific arrangement, and you are going to need to remember this, or do what I did and take a save state with them in view so you can load and reload between different states to get the puzzle done. I'm a cheating bitch.
If you're playing this back in the 90s, I hope you're taking notes.
Yeah.
The 4 books of prophecy can be summed up thusly. The first one calls the mist death in disguise, a freezing of time, and a cradle of madness, explaining how it will appear and asking people to hide from it. The second says that the god Rem is the only hope against the mist, and that the heroes bearing Ra Seru must journey into Rem's bosom, exact words, through the gate of shadows. The third and fourth explain that the way into the gate is closed and can only be entered through using that 4 elements puzzle and a key item called the Star Pearl. When you read the 4th book of prophecy, the podium it's on moves aside, revealing a hidden passage. Heading down and down, we find a room with a non-functioning elevator, and even better, a gorgeous rogue. Now, while I am not as weak to this particular archetype as my girlfriend is, this card does immediately earn some points with me by introducing herself with a twirl and calling herself a 2-bit thief.
Yeah. She's fantastic.
I like her a lot so far. At first, she's amused by our heroes, but when Noah gets upset at her for doing a bad thing after Gala explains to her that thieving equals bad, Kara scowls and complains about us being goody two-shoes, which, like, fair, Noah's internal system of ethics seems a little too simple. She asks if we're going to leave this abandoned town empty-handed, and like, no, I definitely did already take some things from the abandoned houses. But then again, there wasn't much to take, as she explains the people of Octam have hidden in an underground sanctuary that can only be reached by this elevator, which they have turned off as a safety precaution, and they took nearly everything worth a damn with them. That is, except for the Star Pearl, which she has already stolen. We explain that we sorta need that, and she shrugs, saying that she already sold it to a jeweler in Jeremy. Hey, we know that guy, and he owes us. Now you could head there and get the jewel, but that would be the smart thing to do, so I didn't do it. Instead, I explored the islands a bit more, coming to a place called Ratayu, but we can't really go and check that city out because there's this enormous chasm belching boiling steam, which is hot and would kill us. Stupid human body with its temperature sensitivities. Anyway, it's time to head to the Gate of Shadows, where you find someone is there waiting for you dramatically. This ninja-ish fellow, poofing into view from smoke atop a closed stone flower that is the Gate of Shadow, is disappointed with the heroes. When he'd heard that they had defeated Zato, he expected more than children. Introducing himself with a dramatic jump to the ground and a pose with his weapon, this man, apologies, I'm probably going to say this name wrong, Guy Delilas, is here to fight the leader of the group one-on-one. You can choose to name exactly who the leader of the group is, and I was very tempted to say it should be Noah, but I did have Vaughn step up for that. Before the fight could begin, his younger siblings, Lou and Shay, show up, and they all pose and introduce themselves as a set. Due to something they whisper about, and thus we don't know, there isn't really time for a fight just yet, so they disappear in a puff of smoke, promising Vaughn that next time, they will be deadly serious next time. These goobers are delightful.
And Noah gets real excited about people jumping around and doing poses and stuff.
Yes, she does. It's so cute.
I love it.
I mean, she's correct. That's... If you have cool powers and fight, obviously you should do cool poses and name your attacks. That's just the correct thing to do. And it's what they're doing. All of our attacks literally have names.
So what you're saying is Dean Stark did nothing wrong?
I'm really sorry. I don't know what you're referencing, I don't think, or I'm forgetting.
Wait, with Wild Arms.
Don't forget me!
I'm laughing very hard. The mic is not picking it up, but yes, okay. That shows how much I remember Dean Stark that I completely forgot. That was his name.
It's a pretty generic name.
It is.
That's one of my favorite things about Wild Arms, the series, is everybody's name. Like the big badass of Wild Arms 2. Like he has the Sephiroth locks in silver with his long flowing black hair. He has like fights with giant fists, and his name is Brad.
Oh God. Okay. Anyway, with that done, we need to do the 4 elements puzzle. Match each element where it was in the Octam's ruins room. With that done, the large stone flower opens up, but there is still a blockage. To clear that, we need the Star Pearl, which at this point I realized I had forgotten to go and get. It's easy, you just go to the jeweler. He does not mind giving it to you for free because you've already helped him out. So you can then just run back, and unlike the unlock typo. So you just run back and unlock the entrance to the Gate of Shadows, and oh dear, it is a branching paths dungeon. I am always so annoyed with these because it's not always immediately obvious which route is the way towards progress, and I hate going down the correct route for too long and then going, wait, I need to go back to the wrong ones and get all the treasure, because I really want to get all the treasure. Regardless, the path takes you down and down into the earth, first through tunnels and then into this weird area with like voids of nothing and rock islands and floating stones that act as bridges or paths between them. It's really trippy and kind of cool. But
Yeah,
eventually you get...
you go to the JRPG no space way early in this game, and no one talks about it.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, hey, that's weird. Eventually you do find the underground area of Octam, where immediately people are shocked to see a new face because there hasn't been one in 10 years. Everyone is sad to hear the mist is still around, and they have been anxious waiting on a message from Hari, who's only awake infrequently and hasn't said anything in half a decade. Oh, also, there's an earthquake shortly after you arrive, one which sends a house tumbling down into the abyss below, and the occupant of the house barely manages to get to safety in the process. The people here are safe, but for how long? You can go and talk to the mayor, who laughs about how they're all doomed and there's nothing he can do about it. This dude is really going through it. But as you're leaving, a guard runs up the stairs, knocking our heroes aside in a oddly, unexpected funny bit of slapstick, and shouts that Hari is awake, but he only wants to speak with the protagonists. Heading to where Hari is, you find 3 babies. One in a blue blanket, one in a green blanket, and one in a red blanket. Each are one aspect of Hari, each with a different dominion over a different part of time, the past, the present, and the future. The past Hari explains that the Mist, Seru, and Raw Seru are all tied together. The Seru are from another place, Seru Kai, which is both indivisible from the world the humans know and yet also apart from it. The Seru were only able to come to humans because of an unfortunate accident, and that through bonding of humans and Seru, humans were able to build their society to new heights, and they relied on the Seru too much, which is very different from the explanation we got at the start of the game, so, ooh, I love that. Anyway, the last thing he has to say is that at the heart of the mist is a demon that is neither human nor Seru, but even Rem's eyes don't know more than that. Only that the demon is using the mist to destroy everything, and we have to use the Genesis trees to save the world. The present Hari makes the situation even more dire. Evidently, the villains are nearing the end of their plan, and if they are not stopped soon, the entire world will be destroyed. An army is being raised to smash any hope people have left, and especially to kill Hari and stop him from telling us anything. Below this underground bunker in the fire path, there's a henchman who, if not stopped, will kill everyone in Octam. So we had better go stop him. The future Hari explains that mist also obscures the future, but there is still some things he can share with us. One fact about the futures of each of our heroes. Vaughn has a tragedy awaiting him that will shatter his hope. Noah's parents are alive and in the Callisto Kingdom, but seeing them will disturb her greatly. And Gala will find in Songhee, quote, a nightmare awaiting. Which, that sounds really ominous. Songhee is apparently Gala's shadow, and ultimately, tragedy and salvation are 2 sides of the same coin. I love how Noah's sounds like kind of bittersweet, but the boys are just being told they're going to have a terrible time soon.
Yeah, I was like, man, sounds like the rest of this game is going to be rough.
Anyway, when you hear each spiel from a baby, you're asked if you've heard it all, and you have to say that yes, you did, and then the baby goes back to sleep. Noah really wants to go find her parents right now, and Gala is disturbed by what he was just told, but there's really no time to process any of that. Not just because we were literally told this place was going to be destroyed if we don't do something, but also because as we leave, another earthquake hits, and this one sends the entire building we were just in down to the depths. People try to get out, but not everyone does, including the 3 babies. Hari's dead now, I guess. Damn.
Yeah, especially because the mayor with his shit-eating grin, when you talk to him, he's like, oh, I don't know anything. I have to just rely on Hari for everything. I don't know how to lead people. I only can get ideas from Hari. And now Hari's dead. So, good luck, Octam.
Good luck.
Vote in a new mayor. This one's bad.
This one's really bad. This guy makes Mayor Dewey look like a phenom at politics. Hari does speak to our heroes as 3 floating orbs, explaining that he knew he was going to die because it was predestined, and reminds us of what we have to do, as well as saying that we will meet again in an unexpected place. We get the mayor's permission to go to the fire path, which is named such because of all the lava. At first, our heroes don't see a way forward when you get to the point with the lava, but Noah points out they could just break off a chunk of rock and ride it. To misquote Futurama, that is not how lava works. Good night. Except it is, I guess, in this game. So you ride around in the lava, and you find a big centaur minotaur monster dude who's attacking a pillar, which is the support structure for the town. When you talk to him, he doesn't immediately fight you. Instead, he says he's busy trying to commit genocide. He'll talk to you later. Just give him a second. You have to bug him a few times to actually get the fight to start. This
I
dude is
thought that
Xain.
was very funny.
It's very funny. This dude is Xain, and he's maybe apologies because I mean you didn't have orb. I get that, Sam, but for me he wasn't that tough. I thought Berserker was a lot worse.
Yeah, this guy's fuck you move is announced, which Berserker's was not. But I was not properly leveled, and I didn't have a good heal spell, and I just couldn't recover from the thing fast enough because my first several times doing it, he would charge up, use his fuck you attack, then he would charge up and use his fuck you attack, and I did not have a way to heal everybody on the turn that I needed to be doing a spirit, or else everybody would die. So it was rough.
Damn. Yeah, I can see that being the case. He's also weak to wind magic, so if you've picked up a wind spell, that's really helpful. And yeah, if you use orb to party heal, you should be okay. You just got to whittle his HP down slowly. As the satyr that was controlling his host body pulls away and starts to die, Xain is so pissed about losing to us that he decides to ruin our day, and does so by using the last of his strength to freeze all of the lava. Somehow. Our heroes don't really understand why that's bad, but I, Trish, have a few guesses.
It's bad.
I'm gonna say, I think we've been hinted at some things that this might screw up really badly. I feel like going back to the windmill place is gonna suck. Mm-hmm. Regardless, we have saved Octam, and heading back there, we're given access to the elevator to celebrate. Though they can't exactly evacuate themselves up to the surface, since the mist is still up there. What will be the repercussions of Xain's dying act? What is going on with those three dramatic siblings? How is seeing her parents going to disturb Noah? We'll have to find all of that out, probably, next time. But first, music.
I thought it was really funny to me when Xain was like, I'm gonna do something terrible, and then he just froze the lava, which makes it easier to get around, and because it didn't immediately occur to me the things this might fuck up, and I was just like, what? Because he builds it up a lot.
Yeah. He does build it up a lot. Xain is a very dramatic villain in a way that's I thought was fun. He was way more fun than Xato ever was.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I absolutely love Xain. And like when you first see him, he like runs past you and slams into the wall. And it's like, oh, is this going to be a thing? And he's just like, hold on a second. I'm busy. And it's very, very good. I love him so much.
Yeah, it takes him a little bit to go, wait a minute, you got Ray Saber. You're my enemies. Oh, damn.
So, throughout the game, we've been finding special equipment that's called like the Vaughn gloves, or the Gala mace, or the Noah robe, or whatever. I named my characters Bash, Scarlet, and Storm. And you know what just sounds like normal things? A Bash glove, and a Scarlet robe, and a Storm mace. And so I didn't realize that this was happening until just now when I was looking at the LP. And it's like, you got the Gala mace. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I named my kids normal names, normal words, and therefore it's confusing. But
that's wonderful. I love that. So I did, of course, luckily because of your vacation, we had 2 weeks to play through, so I had time to catch up on what I didn't get last time. And my fight with Berserker, thank you very much to, I believe it was Vimk, who knows so much about this game, was able to helpfully explain that I could just save state scum and use Naito to kill Berserker, because move can just one hit kill that boss, apparently. And it was very funny to cheese a fight that I was impossible to win otherwise. But once I did that and actually went through all the stuff, I have to say that in the windmill town, there was there's like the slot machine thing where there's like a completely separate, like in Pokemon, there's a separate currency system just for like the tokens you get for the slot machine that you can trade in for specific prizes.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna just say, I recommend if you haven't, totally play with this, especially using save states, because it's very fun. There's certain things you can get that look like punches or kicks, that if you get a string of them, it then changes what's on the slot wheels to be just numbers, and you spit it 3 times, and it multiplies the numbers you just got, and you get that many coins.
Wow.
So you could get, if you try hard enough, you can get, say, 1,000 coins just from one thing like that, and that's worth a lot of good equipment you can get.
Nice. There was something else that I was like, oh, I need to make sure I bring that up for Moms, and I can't remember what it was.
I'll give your brain more time to think while I also say, I feel like this is the week, as I was playing through, that it finally like clicked for me, the fun of the battle system. I think what it was I stopped when I was doing especially like harder random battles. I stopped just doing like the auto command sort of thing for my attacks, and I started like doing what you were saying last week of like specifically chaining different hidden arts together, and like it was just delightful and fun. Like the combat system clicked in a way where it's like, oh, this is just like satisfying some like weird bone deep itch in my brain. It's just satisfying to the monkey part, you know?
I think mine was actually related. So because I was trying to cheese my way through Xain because I was ready to be done, I finally looked up combos that I hadn't figured out yet, and one of the longer combos that Noah could do was chaining a whole bunch of things together that I hadn't learned yet. So that turn, it was like new art, hyper art, super art. It was
that's
very
so
good.
fun. I've been chaining her longer things together. I should do something to chain her shorter ones like that. That'd be very. Noah is still, both in gameplay and in like cutscenes, my favorite character by a long shot. She's just so delightful, and the fact that she gets so many more punches per fight, like per command, just makes comboing with her so much more delightful.
Yeah, and this game gives you quite a lot of the stat up things, and so if you break JRPG tradition and you don't give all of your attack ups to your player character and you give them all to Noah, she then does like Vaughn level damage 30 times per turn, and it's amazing. Big recommend. Make her into your fighting powerhouse.
Yeah, Noah is great, and Gala is also there, and sometimes
Gala
I
is
remember
also
I can
there.
use magic.
Yeah, I wish that using magic didn't take so goddamn long, because
even with speed up, those animations,
they take so long, and to make Gala good, he has to use all of his magic a lot. But when I'm getting random battles constantly and I'm over leveled for them, I can just hold down the X button and the game does it for me.
Yeah.
So I don't go in and I don't use the magic. And so then I get into a boss fight and the FAQ or whatever is like, oh, make sure that you use blah 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 because it's really strong against this boss. And Gala goes to use it and it does like 6 damage because it's level 1 because I've never used it before.
I was grinding
frustrating.
for money at one point because I don't know if you're also having this. I feel like I never have enough money in this game. Every time it's like, oh, cool, new equipment to make my character stronger. Each one costs all the money I have.
I am pretty good now. It was like that for like my first or second week, but I'm rolling in the dough now.
I am not rolling in the dough.
I'll be like, oh man, I feel like I have so much money. This is great. I can't wait to go shopping. And then I'll get to a new town and I'm like, oh man, I upgraded most of my equipment, but now I can't buy any accessories.
Yeah. But so I was grinding for money so I could get more accessories. And in the process, I was like, oh, I could do two things at once. I can grind my magic at the same time of grinding money. And so I'll have all my characters use their weakest, like their currently lowest level spell. And I'll just slowly grind up the magic that way. And it turns out, like you said, the animation time on these spells is so long that doing that is not only inefficient, it's so infuriating. It because it feels like it takes too much effort to. It doesn't like grinding when it works. Feels like it takes no effort at all. This takes too much effort to do, and then I get so little for it. It takes 5 fights, and then it's like, oh, you leveled up Naito. It's like, cool, the spell I never use.
Yeah.
Except when it insta kills a boss.
But the good news about this situation is, unlike in basically every other RPG that has a your magic gets better when you use it thing, heal spells can level up in the menu.
Yes! When I realized that could happen, I was so happy.
I have like level 9 heal on all 3 characters, and it feels great.
I early on I kept using my heal spells. I kept going out of my way to use them in battle, and then at some point I just had to use them outside of battle, and it leveled up, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Any other mem moms we got?
I don't think
I'm really surprised they killed those babies. Actually, not just the babies. When that place went down, I was like, wait, not everyone got out of that building. Not just like Hari, who obviously was like the target. Like a bunch of people just died.
Yeah.
It's getting kind of dark here, because like all the other sad things that have happened so far is like, oh no, you turn into a monster and your human soul is frozen in time, and as soon as I go and plant this tree, you'll be fine. But this one's like, nah, you guys fucking died. There's just a lot of death in this episode.
There is. Vimke is also bringing up in the chat. There's also that woman whose house is destroyed as you get to town, and the rest of the time when you talk to her, she's just mourning the fact that was everything she had, and she has nothing left. And it's just, yeah, this place is really gloomy. There is just this feeling of like we're all screwed. Like we made fun of the mayor earlier, but he has kind of like, I don't know, like the sad clown energy. Like he's laughing about this and like joking about how they're all gonna die, because he just genuinely has no clue how they're gonna get out of this, and he just thinks they're all fucked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They should go into the cave on the side of town and live in the JRPG's no space. If you're floating in a JRPG no space, you can't get hurt by earthquakes. There's no earth.
Yes, clearly. I'm also remembering, I brought up a little bit when I was recapping, but there's multiple times the running gag of this one soldier who keeps running in to deliver news, and every single time he jostles someone or knocks someone aside as he just charges past them, and it's funny every time to me.
Yeah. Again, I love how this game makes use of the fact that it's fully 3D environments, and when the guard runs in to say that Hari is awake, there's like this weird shot that's a point of view shot, and then he just runs straight into Vaughn and knocks him over, and there are fun camera angles. It feels weird because in a lot of ways this game does not feel more advanced than Final Fantasy VII, for example, but it's doing different things. So even though it feels very much like a game of that era, it's doing very different things, and it's interesting.
Yeah, it's tackling things from a very different angle, and because it's not going as ham on some things like Final Fantasy VII did, it's able to redirect that energy into other things that are creative and interesting in their own way.
Like I think 3 times in Final Fantasy VII where they bring the camera down to person size so that they can get a cool angle happens like every cutscene. in this game because it's a
Yeah.
lot cheaper to do here. It's not a full FMV to do it like it is in Final Fantasy VII, and it's nice.
And all the posing and all the like gestures that characters do in cutscenes are really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this game so far has made me want to give Linus 1 and 2 another try. Back when the translation for Linus 2 came out, like, I don't know, it's like 6 years ago now or something. I had tried it for a little bit, but the beginning was kind of bleh. But now, after this one, I'm like, yeah, I'll see what these guys were up to beforehand. It's probably good.
Are Linus and 1 and 2 by the people who made this game?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, in the history section, the only new history I could find after talking about this game for a year was a interview that was about the like 15th anniversary of Linus 2, but they asked a question that brought up Legend of Legaia. So it's the same people, but obviously they weren't a Sony in-house studio on the Super Nintendo. Sony didn't have any of those yet.
Linus 1, that's Paladin's Quest.
Yes.
I think I've heard that game's weird.
Yeah. I'm into weird things. Maybe I'll end up playing it and I'll tell everybody how it goes.
Maybe.
If you do, I'd love to hear about it. Also, you saying that maybe would it be like, yeah, I'm into weird things too. Meet my wife, weird things.
You know what I'm into?
What are you into?
I'm into all of our listeners that head on over to www.rpgbook.club where you can donate to help support us. If you do, you'll get some extra benefits. At $1 a month, the Gadabout tier gets access to our bonus feed where we have after shows for every episode, as well as bonus seasons of the show that are backer only. And at $5 a month, the Warrior tier gets the above, but I also read out their names a little like this on every episode. Shoutouts to Frost Terror, Dragon Slayer 19, Floris, Kaldranus, Freddy Rodriguez, Aaron524, and Jfro Prime. And then at $20 a month, the Luminary tier gets all of the above, plus a 1-sentence shout out to whatever they're passionate about. So shoutouts to El Tantavi, who wants you to check out Aftermath.site, a worker-owned reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. Shoutouts to Vimke, who says, leaving her cell and swinging her pack over one shoulder, she took the time to walk down 5 flights to her mother's nameless catacomb niche. And shoutouts to It's Claire Time, who says, for the Americans, here's a reminder to vote. Early voting is, like, everywhere right now, and Election Day is in, like, 5 days after this comes out. So if you're listening to this, go vote. Your voice really matters this year, especially in local elections. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish, and I just voted.
Me too.
Toodaloo. I beat you to it. Bye-bye.
You can't say toodaloo and I say bye-bye. I have to say toodaloo and you say bye-bye. There's rules. Am I the only one that gives a damn about the rules?
Here's how we do things!